It started out just like any other day. It was me and my dad were working here, getting stuff ready. Karlee was at work, and the boys were at the babysitter. Hi, my name's Kyle Thompson. I'm from Barneveld, Wisconsin. I'm a fifth-generation dairy farmer with my wife and parents and 4 boys. We had 3 young kids, 4, 3, and just shy of 2 years old. And then Karlee was 22 weeks pregnant when the accident happened. It's one of those things you never think it'll happen to you, or the odds are not likely to happen to you, but I managed to hit those odds.
The victim of a harrowing accident inside of a silo is alive to tell his story.
The 33-year-old farmer from Barneveld lost a part of his leg Monday after getting caught in an auger.
Thompson is a 5th-generation farmer and had to prepare the silo for combining this week, and that is where the unexpected occurred.
Yeah, before I knew it, my foot got caught into the auger, and I just started getting pulled by the auger, and it just started to go over my leg and just slowly pulling me, and there's nothing I could do.
As NBC 15's Michelle Beck reports, his family actually helped save his life.
I don't know how I had the whereabouts to grab my phone. I got the phone and called Dad and basically screamed to him through the phone that I was caught and was in the auger. I just heard him go by with the skid loader, but then luckily he was at the end of the barn feeding a calf, and probably the fastest he's moved in a long time. And he came and shut it off, and I guess after I knew he was coming, I had called 911 myself.
He's the one who called 911 from inside the silo.
This part down here was still revolving.
Among those who responded was EMT Krista Quick, Thompson's older sister.
Although I'm not 100% sure, I just know that something happened here where it got him sucked down into it. Everything was all covered in corn in this area.
My sister Krista and Lisa Moyer were the first to climb in.
To save her brother's life, Quick says she needed to stop the bleeding, but first, someone had to dig him out.
So I climbed through that hole and I got in there and I said, "What can I do?" And he said, "Start shoveling." And so I started shoveling the corn.
The fireman cut a hole in the side of the silo because there's only like a 2-foot by 2-foot entrance door that you got a really tight squeeze, and there was no way to get a stretcher in there to get me out. They cut the square open, and then with it being dark in there, I mean, it made everything bright in the silo. Being a small town, you knew basically everybody that was there, and it's like one of those things you just feel bad you're putting them through seeing it.
And as I was getting that tourniquet on, I could hear med flight landing, and it was the most beautiful sound ever, hearing that helicopter landing, knowing that there was help here.
Everything echoes in a silo when it's empty and that, so like I could hear the fire trucks coming down the driveway, and then I could hear med flight. I mean, you think it's loud when it goes over in the air, but it's even louder when you're right there.
They give you some sort of medicine to help calm you down and that kind of, they say that kind of takes away the memory of it too.
Now, the husband and father has about 6 inches remaining in his left leg below the knee.
My first memory in the hospital was waking up and seeing Karlee, my wife, and I think the first thing I did was said I was sorry and don't be mad at me. I mean, I didn't know everything that happened between the silo and the time I woke up, but I knew what had happened.
After 1 surgery at the UW hospital, Thompson says he's waiting on at least 3 more.
Doing pretty good. We finally got the pain under control this afternoon, so it's about the best it can be doing.
After the accident, I was in the hospital for 16 days. We did 4 surgeries total. We did 9 transfusions, 2 were in med flight, and the other 7 were at the hospital. I think the positiveness was just because of the kids and everything. Wanted to show that overcome something major. I mean, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Karlee, my wife, says that I always used to go by the phrase, "It is what it is," and that's kind of how I kept a positive attitude. And I mean, I was going to be an amputee, but had the positive drive that I wanted to get back, especially for doing stuff with the boys, whether it's hunting, fishing, farming, sports, everything.
And from his hospital bed, Thompson told me he is grateful for all the support he has gotten. His mother also said the farming community has stepped up and offered their help during this busy season.
Yeah, there's lots of support from the family. My side of the family basically ran the farm, my mom and dad, and my brother was able to take off a few weeks from work, and they ran the farm while my mother and father-in-law, Ed and Jill, they helped with the boys, and Karlee's Aunt Julie did a lot of the babysitting and that, so we'd go to appointments. And while I was at the hospital, my sister-in-law or Karlee's aunt would take her in, and then Ed and her Uncle Mike would come pick her up at night. Yeah, everybody made it much easier to get through it. I mean, there's a lot of support.
Well, 3 months later, Kyle is healing, using crutches to get around on his own. But a prosthetic is the goal.
6-7 months after, I think it was May or June, we got the first prosthetic.
Saturday, dozens of volunteers dished out pasta to hundreds of people.
Originally, when we started, I was hoping for 400, so we're way over that.
People donated online for the raffle and silent auction, all in the name of Kyle's recovery.
Over the last 2-3 months, it's been outstanding. Everybody that's came forward, either helping or donating or coming to support.
For Kyle, the turnout is overwhelming.
I found out it was very hard to keep the outside one clean in the house, so we had to get a second prosthetic, and they're very expensive. Some of the money we used to help buy some of the things for the fire department, tech rescue, that Great Wall Rescue, and then was able to buy a second prosthetic.
And those green shirts you see all the volunteers wearing that say "Farming is my superpower," that's how Kyle and his wife explain the prosthetic to their 3 young children. The new leg will give him superpowers.
The advice that I would give is to slow down a little bit. And that was the whole thing, was I was in too big of a hurry. You're not bulletproof. You're not invincible. Stuff can happen to you, and it happens fast when it does happen. So in the end, you find out that you are stronger than you actually are, and there is way more support out there than you would expect. I guess I never expected all the help and support that we got from everybody. Don't take life for granted, because it can be changed in a hurry. Blink of an eye and something happens. I hope my boys learn from the whole thing that you can get through any hurdle or barrier thrown in front of you, that if you put your mind to it, you can get through it.